All right, if you're a global founder, you're probably building a business that doesn't really see borders. But here's the thing. What happens when your strategy just can't keep up with that ambition? Let's dive into that. So the core idea here is actually pretty simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. In this hyper-connected world we're all living in, your market isn't just your city or your country anymore. It's the entire planet, right? Your team, your customers, your operations, they're all spread out. So your success, by its very nature, has to be borderless too. And that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? What happens when your ambition is global, but your whole legal, tax, and compliance setup is, well, it's stuck in a local mindset? This is where the nightmare starts. This is where you get massive friction, huge risks, and just waste. And the worst part? You often don't even see it coming until it's way too late. Okay, so this brings us to what's called the patchwork problem. And look, this isn't about blaming your advisors. They're probably great at what they do. The real problem is having this collection of really smart but totally disconnected local experts. Each one can only see their little piece of the puzzle, and no one is looking at the entire global chessboard you're trying to win. Let me put it this way. Imagine you have an advisor in, say, Germany. They give you absolutely brilliant advice for Germany. But, whoops, that same advice just created a massive tax nightmare for you in the US or maybe Singapore. A global framework, on the other hand, it's designed from the very beginning so all the pieces work together in harmony. The real danger isn't one piece of bad advice, it's the empty space, the gaps between all the different pieces of good advice. And let me tell you, the cost of getting this wrong is, well, it's incredibly high. I'm talking about things like two different countries both claiming you're a tax resident and demanding you pay them. Imagine that headache. Or maybe you're stuck with a company structure that seemed easy at first, but now it's just causing all sorts of friction with cross-border payments. And then you have the alphabet soup of penalties. Things like FBR, CRS, FATCA. These are super strict reporting rules, especially from the US, and they come with absolutely crippling fines for what might seem like a simple mistake. It is, no joke, a minefield. Okay, so how do you get out of this mess? How do you go from this chaotic patchwork quilt of advice to a place of real clarity and control? The answer is what we call a unified global strategy. Think of it as a single, elegant blueprint that's designed specifically for your business and your life. And this whole strategy, it really rests on three core pillars that all have to work together. First, you need the right strategic structure for your business. Second, you have to align your personal residency with that structure. And third, you need seamless compliance everywhere you operate. It's those three things. All right, let's dive into that first pillar, structure. And let's be super clear here. We are not just talking about going online and registering a company. No, this is about designing the very architecture of your business. It's about engineering it from the ground up for performance, for protection, and for global scale. So here's the key takeaway. A strategic structure treats your legal framework like a powerful tool, not just a piece of paper. It's intentionally designed to protect your assets, to give you real operational flexibility, and to make sure you can scale across borders efficiently without having to stop and rebuild the whole thing every few years. And this right here is a huge mindset shift for most people. See, most founders think step one is, okay, I need to form a company. But with a real global strategy, the actual act of forming the company, that might be step 7 or 8 or even 9. It only happens after the entire blueprint for your global system has been carefully designed. And believe me, the impact is very, very real. We heard from one founder, Pablo Flores-Lemons, who said that after they rebuilt his structure, it saved me from a 6-figure mistake I didn't even know I was about to make. I mean, wow, that's the power of being proactive instead of just reacting to problems as they pop up. But, having a powerful structure is really only half the battle. It has to be perfectly aligned with where you live and how you actually operate. And that's where the other two pillars, residency and compliance, come in. They all have to work together to create one single cohesive system. I mean, think about it. As a global founder, where you physically are, your personal footprint, is every bit as important as your company's footprint. A proper tax residency transition is basically a clear, compliant roadmap. It makes sure that your freedom to live wherever you want doesn't accidentally trigger some massive, unexpected tax bill. It's really about making sure your personal life and your business are telling the exact same consistent story to all the tax authorities out there. And you know what the result is? It's not just about saving money. It's about peace of mind. Just listen to what another entrepreneur, Jorge Del Carpio, said. For the first time, I feel my business and my residency are aligned, worth every dollar. That feeling of alignment and just being in control, that's really the ultimate prize here. So, okay, you've got the right structure, you've got everything aligned. What's next? Well, a truly great strategy doesn't just stop at solving today's problems. It's about looking ahead. It's about anticipating tomorrow's opportunities and protecting what you're building for the long term. It's about your global legacy. This line really says it all, doesn't it? What's the point of all that freedom if you can't preserve what you've built? At the end of the day, all of this planning, the structure, the residency, the compliance, it's all about one thing: preserving the value and the freedom that you worked so incredibly hard to create. So I'll leave you with this one final question to really think about. Is your current strategy just a patchwork, just a bunch of quick fixes for the problems you have right now? Or is it a thoughtfully designed architecture, built not just for today, but for everything that's coming next? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us.